everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles. This is my tag team partner, Rick Martel.
Gary Rhodes, everybody.
And we'll go right into this is our WWE show for the week. Starting off with Paul Heyman in the ring, calling out Triple H.
I guess he had the notion to think that Triple H wasn't going to be in London.
Well, that's because Triple H lied to him.
Not to Triple H. Hunter never lies.
Oh, contrary and unfair.
But Paul Heyman never lies.
Of course he doesn't lie.
It's
Paul Heyman.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, it's just a little setup between them, have a little skirmish. Paul takes a hell of a freaking pedigree. I think Paul sold it perfect. Would you agree?
Well, he sold it better than perfect would have. But anyway.
Oh, no, not Mick Foley.
It was a nice opener to the show. Gets it out of the way. Basically, the match is accepted for the pay-per-view. Lets us go right on to the show, which we have first match of the night. R-Truth versus Antonio Cesaro. I'll let you speak on this because I know you're really happy about this match.
Well, Cesaro's losing to a guy in, 3 minutes, to the guy that he beat 4 months ago in tremendous fashion. I mean, pretty much, Truth was his jobber 3 or 4 months ago. The same as Kofi was a jobber 3 or 4 months ago. I look at it this way. Money in the Bank's coming up pretty soon. It's kind of the same kind of situation Daniel Bryan was in before Money in the Bank. So, you never know. Even was Dolph Ziggler beforehand. He was jobbing quite a bit before.
And after, and still now.
Yeah, but he's a world champion.
No choppers.
Hey.
To me, it just speaks to the bigger problem with WWE. There's no rudder, no direction for the mid-card talent, which these guys are two of. R-Truth's a good talent. Antonio Cesaro has proven himself to be a damn good talent. But you don't give him any storylines or any feuds, and then you get these worthless matches where a guy like Cesaro, who should be on the way up, is losing to a guy like Truth, who's doing absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Now, coming off of that, we actually have a feud that's been brewed. The Tons of Funk versus the Rhodes Scholars, they split them up, gave them 2 matches like they like to do. I don't mind when they do that.
No.
It's good show filler. And you had Brodus Clay versus Damian Sandow, which I thought was the better of the 2 matches. Yeah. And not just because of the outcome. It was Sandow gets over on Clay, which, kind of makes the next match they did after that predictable, but I thought it was a decent match, not terrible. I mean, what you had involved, Clay's not the greatest wrestler, but he's not bad at all.
And Sandow helps cover any of the problems that Clay has. And Sandow's not been on television for, maybe 2 years now, this run.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's been there before, he knows what to do, and he's great with his timing, everything like that. I've not really seen...
You're welcome.
Oh, I haven't seen a boring Sandow match,
Well, I mean, he was trained by Killer Kowalski.
Exactly.
It speaks a lot for the guy. One of the all-time greats in Kowalski.
And like I said, Sandow gets the win in this match. Speaking
of the all-time greats, one of the all-time greats and one of Gary's personal favorites, Y2J, Chris Jericho, wrestles against Dolph Ziggler.
And if Jericho wins,
he gets added to the 3-way match at Extreme Rules
to make it a fatal 4-way.
And it's a decent. I thought it was a good match. I like they gave him right about 20 minutes of wrestling time on the show, which was very refreshing. Because you got 2 guys of the caliber of wrestler that Y2J and Dolph are, and you give them that much time, they're going to do something special.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Ziggler lives up to his nickname or the moniker of the show off. The kid is gold. And, Jericho
They
is
Jericho. Gold. Yeah. And then the finish had the Fandango music come over and distract Jericho so Ziggler could hit the zigzag out of nowhere. He has so many finishers that I forget the name of it.
I enjoyed it when he did the sleeper hold as his main finisher. Remember he was beating guys like Khali when Khali was still kind of a monster. That was when he was on his way down to being a jobber.
Well, I like that he has different things that he can use. I imagine at some point we'll see the sleeper hold again as you used it by him. And it was a good match, foreshadowing the Y2J and Fandango feud continuing after this. And it gave a good TV match for the world champion. And he got a win, which they haven't let him do as a champion.
It's kind of rare.
Now, coming up next, we had the second part of the the Tons of Funk versus Rhodes Scholars match. We had Cody Rhodes versus Sweet Tea. I thought out of the two matches, it was the worst of the two. Sweet Tea goes over. I knew why they did it, to make it even, so the teams, got a win each. Builds it better for the pay-per-view or whenever the tag match is going to be. I just didn't think this match was that good of a match at all.
No, neither do I.
And I like Cody. I think Cody could do bigger and better things.
Yeah, I honestly think they need to break up the Rhodes Scholars and let Cody go on his own for the world title.
Well, they did for a week.
I'm talking about a real breakup.
No, that's, again, like I said earlier, it's the problem. The main problem with WWE is that they don't have storylines and feuds for their mid-carders and guys that are not on the top of the card to be doing. If you compare this to the Attitude Era and even the Rock and Wrestling Era or the New Generation Era, in those eras, the Rock and Wrestling Era, everybody on the card had a feud, had someone they were fighting against. The New Generation, everybody had a feud, everybody had someone they were fighting against. Attitude Era, I mean, even guys like Taka Michinoku had stories and had feuds. Whereas now, you don't know what Cesaro is doing, you don't know what guys like the Rhodes Scholars are doing. I mean...
Creative is really letting everything down.
Exactly. You throw matches just to throw a match out there is basically what they're doing, and there's no build up to it, and that's why they're losing ratings, and that's why people are turning off. Because why do you care? Why do I care? Especially, the next match is a great example. Big E Langston versus Zack Ryder. Why do I care about that? I mean...
He does chalk in his hands, that's why...
No, I'm not...
I'm just kidding.
Big E is an impressive wrestler. He's an impressive guy. I mean, he's huge, and he moves lightning fast, and Zack Ryder is someone that could have been something, but they destroyed. Again, two guys, exactly the point that I've been making all night, that have no storyline. Big E's a bodyguard, Zack Ryder's barely on television.
I think they're going to break Ziggler and Big E up as a little group, because you saw they had a little interaction earlier. We mentioned that they're like hit the road or some shit like that to Big E while he's supposed to make it was
Ziggler and AJ time.
Yeah,
but
I understand what you're saying. It's true. They're not putting enough behind their product. Only a short amount of people are getting their just dues as far as having a rivalry. And mainly it's always Cena or the part-timers that come in.
Now, coming off of that, we're going to take a little step back and go into our question of the week from last week. Now, the question was, it was suggested by one of our friends out there. It said, would you guys like to see us do a question and answer type show? Now, we got one answer, and it was from our friend Josh Adams. He put, hell yeah, please do a Q&A. Josh, we'd like to do it. I know you would. I wouldn't mind doing it. The problem is, just as you've seen there, you're the only one that responded, which isn't a bad thing. We wouldn't mind answering every question you had. We just don't... We put it out there to gauge the interest. If we would have had 4 or 5 answers, we would have said, go, let's run with it. But if we start getting people questioning, some questions, we'll do one. But I just don't think there's an interest there, do you?
I don't see it. I mean, if Josh ever wants to add an extra question onto it, or whoever, we'd have no problem answering them.
Yeah, we're more than willing to add your questions into the show at this point. If you want to rattle off 15 questions, 10 questions, we'll do a show on that.
Yeah.
We don't mind doing a show answering Josh's questions. And, and anybody else.
Yeah.
Not just Josh, but Josh was the one that answered. Anybody else that wants to, I mean, if you want to ask us questions, if we get enough that it's worth us sitting down and bringing the tripod out, we'll do it.
Yeah.
And that goes right into the question of the week for this week. It's kind of what we were talking about, the match before. Zack Ryder is seeming to go through some kind of either a gimmick change or a face-heel change that they've been teasing. Do you think the Ryder character is beyond repair, that even a change isn't going to help it at this point. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on our Facebook. Hit us up on our Twitter. Put it down where?
Down there.
Right down there in the comments.
Yeah.
And you actually swung this time.
Well, I went. Yeah, I was trying to hit you in the face.
Well, you missed it. There was one that you didn't swing at all.
Oh.
That's okay.
Whatever.
Casey strikes out every now and again. But you are a bunt. You're the equivalent of a bunt for the show.
Now, one of the high points of the night comes up next.
The high point.
Yeah. Taker,
I don't know why this wasn't the main event.
Because they're booking stupid. Taker and Team Hell No, or Brothers Destruction and Daniel Bryan versus The Shield, whichever way you want to say it.
I thought it was an excellent match. I thought it was a great television match. They gave it plenty of time. The crowd was into it. Seth Rollins sold like a maniac during this. Daniel Bryan did the lion's share of the wrestling for their team, and with good reason. Taker's pretty beat up. He can't wrestle as well as he used to. And Kane is a little bit beat up as well. Kane's getting up there in age. It was very well put together. The ebb and flow of the match, the quick tags, everything about it. Taker doing old school.
And the best part about the match is the crowd was into it 100%.
Yes. Well, my favorite part of the match was when Seth Rollins is trash talking the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Like, they're proving, the Shield has proved, this match shows that the Shield deserves to be at the top of the card. I mean, you got 2 first ballot Hall of Famers and another guy that probably will also be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And they're right there in with them, and they don't look like they look like they belong there. Mm-hmm. And they look like they should be top of the card, which is amazing for guys that have been on TV a little bit over 6 months.
Exactly. I see a big upturn for the Shield.
And it's something I brought up last night. I initially said it to the Mass Tweeter, our friend Mass Tweeter, and I also said it to you today. I would not be bothered by anybody in this match taking the streak from Undertaker next year, whether it be Kane, Daniel Bryan, or any of the members of the Shield. Any one of them, I think, is a good person to take it from them. But I thought this was definitely the highlight of the night by far. And then, of course, the Shield goes over, which, astounding that they're winning. They've won every TV and pay-per-view match they've been on. I know that they've lost some house show matches, but WWE is ignoring that. So technically, they're undefeated as a team. And I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. This is one storyline that they're doing very right. The Shield storyline.
Exactly. I mean, they came out a couple months after the Aces and Eights. So what would you say, about 5 months or so?
About 2 or 3.
Okay, and this never floundered. Where the Aces and Eights really floundered. I think they're Aces and Eights are on the top now. I think they're for their brand. Yeah. But these 3 men have stayed on the top for the whole time they've been on top.
And I think it says something about the 3 guys they chose to do it to. They are all future main event talent, and I think this is the best group that they've done in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Now, coming off of that, another guy that recently debuted, Fandango. Was glad to see the crowd was back into it again. Yeah. But the WWE, it's almost like they want the crowd to move on from Fandango because they shouldn't have liked him as much as they did, because they stick him in England against William Regal, who in England is going to get a master pop.
Steven Regal?
It's not WCW.
Oh, thanks, JBL.
He's a man's man.
Man. But it was a short match.
I did like it though. It was a good match.
But the fans are still behind the Fandango character, because after the match was over, they're still
doing the song
and stuff like that.
But Regal, it just seemed to me that WWE tried to get Fandango booed.
Well, you're in England. You have Regal. You want to make a statement with, making somebody, a heel. The Shield should just jump Regal before a match or during a match or anything like that. And
I think
you're
super not Regal though.
I don't know. I think it wouldn't hurt him. Really? Would you think it hurt him in England? As loved as Regal is there? If they open the show up with them beating up Regal?
I think they're beyond him, though. I mean, I think that's too... Nothing against William Regal, but he's not even a wrestler that's on the show every... It's the first time he's been on the show in 8 months, bro.
Yeah, well, since probably the last time they were in England.
Yeah. Which, speaking of England, we had the next match, or I guess our main event match, the Divas Battle Royal. Layla L was wearing the Union Jack as a uniform because she is from England. And it is what it is. Divas Battle Royal, it's crap. It always is crap. The best Divas Battle Royal was the one that Gail Kim eliminated herself from. But AJ Lee wins to kind of build up a storyline where her and Caitlyn are going to wrestle for the title, and her and Dolph will both have the titles for the men and the women. Now we got our main segment of the night. Backstage segments had teased all night. Mick Foley talking about Ryback, and Ryback saying, "Well, meet me in the ring." Cena gives Foley a chair. Foley goes out there. He does his thing, talks to Ryback, said almost the same promo he did last year with CM Punk, just changes the name a little bit. You know, I had a lot of faith in you. I thought you were going to be somebody, but now you're starting to take the cheap road. You know, basic face stuff, which they lead to them about to square off, and Cena, Super Cena. That is the one thing I really loved about this promo, that twice Ryback called him Super Cena. Super Cena comes down to save Mrs. Foley's baby boy. They're about to square off, Ryback and Cena, and the Shield's music hits. Shield comes down, Cena does the same thing Ryback did last week. The Shield starts attacking Ryback, and then Cena runs in with the chair and chases the Shield off to end your show. Then he hits the Attitude Adjustment. I mean, I've read where some people complain that the Shield got ran off by one man after beating the three men they did. But it was one man with a chair.
No, you gotta sell the chair.
Yeah.
The chair is the most deadliest weapon in professional wrestling, I would say.
I mean, especially in the PG era.
Exactly. So you gotta run from the chair. I mean, really, we get the three of them to stand up to it.
I mean, they're not going to risk injury. They're smart. But anyway, I thought it was a generic ending. I much rather would have seen this go on earlier in the show and have the 6-man match as the ending. Which, speaking of the ending, let's go right into it. We'll go right into our ratings for the show. As you know, we do a 1 to 5 rating. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. A 1's a John Cena, 2's a Big Show, 3's a Sheamus, 4's a Daniel Bryan, 5's a CM Punk. What do you give it, Gary?
I'm in between right now, to be honest with you. I want to do a high 3. You know, I'm going to get a Sheamus. There's a lot of downtime in the show. The Ryback talking part, other than the Super Cena, was good. Taker, hell no, and the Shield, awesome match. Y2J and Ziggler, awesome match. But there's just a lot of downtime to me. It just didn't seem that special. How about you?
I think I'm going to go right along that same lines. I'm going to give it a 3 of Sheamus as well. I probably would have gave it 1 if it wasn't for the Fandango Regal match I liked, even with the brevity of it. The Taker and Hell No vs. Shield was amazing. Y2J vs. Ziggler was good. Even Brodus Clay vs. Sandow I liked more than I thought I was going to. Ryback and Foley. I love Foley, as everybody knows.
But they're trying to inject him in every situation now.
Yeah.
What I would do if I had Foley is if you're going to keep him around as much, make him the commissioner again. Get rid of Vicky, make him the commissioner. The show will be 10 times better.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, like we were talking before we were talking about him being a commissioner. Between him and Regal were the best 2 commissioners that WWE ever had.
Exactly. But basically, that's all I got to say. Is there anything you need to add?
That's it from me, my friend.
My name is George Coles.
I'm Gary Rhodes.
And this has been Heel Heat.